Now this home was on the golf course, so it had a beautiful backdrop. They already had this bench sitting here, so I thought I'd utilize this bench in the design of the waterfall. And since they're going to be seeing it from the front of the house here, or I mean the back of the house, they're going to be looking out at it. I thought right here would be a really nice place to have the waterfall back a ways, and then have it dump into a pond right here. Have the pond come all the way up here to the sidewalk, and then create a little stone path, much like we did uh, with this one, and have it come off the sidewalk over to the bridge, off the other side of the bridge, back around over to the sidewalk again. Now there are some things that I'm going to teach you how to do as we go. We're going to have to clean up this picture a little bit before we use it. What I mean by that is you see this little weed sticking up right here. And then, of course, there's a lot of dirt from the landscaping that they've started to do. They've already put in their drains and whatnot. So you see you have to take into consideration these drains. We may have to, after we dig the pond, reroute those around the pond, or drop it off to the back in front of the waterfall to change the configuration depending on where the pond's going to be. We never worry about sprinklers. We never worry about drains because there's always a way to reroute stuff. But I got rid of these bushes, got rid of this little tray, plant tray that's sitting here on the sidewalk, and also got rid of a lot of this dirt that's on the sidewalk here, kind of cleaned up the sidewalk a little bit. And here we go. We're going to bring the picture in, so watch that as I bring the other one in just by double clicking on it. The other picture pops up. And as you said, see, as I described to them, we'll put the waterfall back here, dumping into a pond with a little bridge over it and some plants in front. Here's their little path, quartzite, up to the bridge and coming back around to the sidewalk again. And as you see, we got rid of the bushes, we got rid of that tray on the sidewalk, and we got rid of most of the dirt. Didn't want to clean it up completely, but we got it, a lot of that stuff removed. And now you still have the view of the uh, background and the bench, but everything else other than the sidewalk has changed. So we're going to go back and do this about 3 times. So if you'll watch the picture, we'll take it back to the original, bring the design in, back to the original, and bring the design in. Now what's nice is if you have a laptop and you can take this with you to your client's house, it's pretty dramatic when you've got the picture of their backyard up on the computer, and then you just, oh, voila, there's your finished product. It's kind of, and you can even mow the lawn. I'll teach you how to do that with digital design. No, kidding. This has already been mowed. So let's move on to the next one. This one was fun because it's a really nice canvas to work with. A lot of interesting topography here. We've got the retaining wall to work with, so we could bring part of our waterfall off of the retaining wall, bring the rest of the waterfall down the hill here. And I explained what we could do is put the pond in, remove all of this sidewalk, bring the pond in, have it continue all the way over to the driveway right here. So that'll be the pond. The waterfall will come down, fall into it. Right here, we'll put a quartzite concrete bridge, either arched or flat, over to a set of steps. Up the steps to another quartzite path that finishes up to the road. And then off this side of the path and off this side of the path will be a waterfall, one spilling over the retaining wall, one coming over here into the pond. Now, you notice in regular landscaping, people love to use little groupings of rocks. And you can see how this is just a little bit unrealistic, because rocks usually just don't lay around on the surface. Some are buried, some are just sticking up in a natural terrain where there is a rocky area. So whenever you do landscaping, you always want to drop some of your rocks down into the ground, so you have a couple maybe up out of the ground and at least 1 or 2 that are submersed in the soil. That way what it looks like is over the years the soil's washed away, and especially when you're doing a waterfall, cut down into the ground when you build your waterfall, so it isn't all sitting up on top of the soil. That's unrealistic. The way you want it to look is when I show you the next picture of the finished design, it'll look like over the years this dirt has washed away and revealed rocks underneath. And that's the way you want it to look when it's completed. Not just rocks right here and nothing up here, you know, or nothing over in here. You've got to have some rocks to justify all of this rock in the waterfalls. Also suggested putting some flowers or some color around these trees. So take a look at the picture, keep your eye on it. I'm going to double click on the finish. Voila. Just as I described to the client, we've got a portion of the waterfall coming over the retaining wall, over the other side coming down the hill, and it's almost as though there's a spring in the side of this hill, and the water's coming out of the ground level spring and washing down the hillside and washed away all the soil. Up at the top, you can see there are some rocks exposed with the ground cover wrapped around the rock on both sides. And if you wanted to spend the money, you could go ahead and get some other landscape boulders and whatnot, and maybe put a few up in this area up here where they have the white rock. And then of course got the little steps up to the street at the top. Got the flowers as I said around the trees. Got some on the other side of the pond up against the wall, and here in the front. Water. So we're going to go up here to Effects, left click, come down to Transparency. Now we're going to use Even for transparency. There is a transparency brush that will erase just the portion that you want of an object, and at different degrees of transparency. Same thing with Even. We want the whole reflected gazebo even, so we're going to left click on Even. The tool comes up in the left hand corner. Now you could use this and go one at a time, but it'll take a long time to do that. See, here's one click, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how long that takes? So we're going to come over and speed up the process. Left click on the bar and drag it. Let go. And that's just about right as far as selection is concerned. I just happened to drop it in the right place. We'll go a little farther. I'll show you. See how it disappears? We could take it right down and totally make it disappear, but we're going to back it up so that it's just partly transparent. And we'll say for the brightness of the day, that's probably a good reflection in the water right there. And we're going to go down here and say done. Now, this gazebo is reflecting in the grass and it's reflecting on this rock. We don't want that. So we're going to erase this. And how you do it is with the same transparency. Go up here to Effects, left click, and come down to Transparency. Only we're going to use the brush. Left click. Now notice you have different size brushes right here at the top. And since we got a pretty big area to erase, we're gonna come up another size. Now if you quickly drag it off to the right, you'll see how big it is. That's not quite so big. So let's go over, grab the biggest. There you go. That's a good size. Then we're going to come over here. We don't want soft edges as we erase, as you see right here. We want hard. We want to erase completely right up to the edge of where we don't want it erased. So we're going to say hard edge. And we want to erase 100%. So we'll drag it all the way to the right. Now we'll start here at the bottom, just drag it back and forth. Right up to the edge of the water. And we're going to go up on this rock. And get rid of the reflection that's... We're going to go back up here to crop canvas. Go up in the corner. Drag down. Let go. And then say done. And it cropped all that stuff that was hanging out off the edge. And there's the finished product. So it would have taken, if I didn't have to explain everything that I was doing and a couple things I had to do twice, this would have taken a little less than an hour to do. So in an hour you've made $350 creating a beautiful pond, a couple waterfalls with trees, and a gazebo with a bridge and a pathway in their backyard.